I mean, she was married 8 times by the time she was 40.
Your mother was married 8 times.
8 times before she was age 40.
Hello, you are listening to NPE Stories. This is a podcast where NPEs can share their story. I am your host, Lily, and I found out I was an NPE through an ancestry DNA test that changed my life forever. NPE is a term that stands for not parent expected or non-paternal event. This means that one or more of our parents are not who we believe them to be. NPE Stories is a podcast where NPEs can share their story of what their original family was like, how they found out they were an NPE, and what their journey has been like since the day they found out. Welcome to episode 51. Today I am speaking with DaRhonda. Hi, DaRhonda.
Hi, Lily.
I love your name. It's pretty.
Thank you.
And nice to talk to you again. You just reminded me that we spoke earlier this summer. We're currently in October 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We met some months ago. Was this on an NPE Zoom call?
It was on the NPE Only After the Discovery Zoom call that we do every week. Yes.
I love it. The explicit version one, correct?
Absolutely. That's the only way we roll.
I love it. And then you were just telling me before, if you don't mind mentioning it again, were you saying you were going to join a virtual NPE retreat this weekend? Is this something you can...
Yes. NPE Only After the Discovery was founded by Aaron C. We have tried to get together numerous times. It's been canceled because of COVID. But we did have a retreat last April, I think, and it was amazing. It could have been October. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with dates, especially when I'm nervous. But anyways, all of us had first met at an NPE Friends retreat in Philadelphia. And then this group kind of branched off. And I love it because it's very close-knit and it's just more open. And anyway, so this retreat was one that was rescheduled because of COVID. And if you don't want to go in person, you could do it virtual.
And you are going to do it virtual, correct?
I am.
I love that these retreats exist and that you're going to go to one. I might contact you personally next week just to find out how that went.
Absolutely.
Where are you talking to me from? Where are you in the United States?
I live in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, which is just outside of Philadelphia.
Aha, another East Coaster.
Well, not really.
No, you don't consider, okay.
No.
I'm learning so much. Got it.
Right?
Okay.
I'm kind of a gypsy soul. I was born and raised in California and moved here when I was 23 and then moved to Texas for 22 years, back to California and back here again for 4 years.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I just turned 57.
Congratulations. Happy belated.
Thank you.
Okay, so I've got a good idea, DaRhonda, about where you're located today. Now, You know how this works. Why don't you go ahead and give us the background of your family of origin and then take us into how you found out you were an NPE.
Okay. Well, I was born in 1963 in a small town in the Central Valley of California called Tulare. And I was born to my biological mother, and she was 19, and I was her youngest of 3. And I don't remember, but apparently, like my dad and her were not married. She was married to another man that was in jail. And so, anyways, I'm going to put a little twist on that. My mom and dad are second cousins. And my dad is my birth certificate father. That's who I'm talking about. So, they couldn't get married.
You said that again. They are your mom and birth certificate father are second cousins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So where that is good is when I found out my dad wasn't my biological father, like most people lose 50% of their family, I only lost 25%.
Okay.
So I didn't lose my dad. He's now my third cousin.
Really?
Yeah, he's now my third. Well, he passed away in 1997 of cancer, but yeah, he's my third cousin, and my cousins, they just moved down a couple notches on some sides, and yeah. So my first cousins are now my fourth cousins, and it's all kinds of shady.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Have you heard that one yet, Lily?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So, anyways, get back to it. So my dad was 25, just out of the Navy. And apparently something happened somewhere. I don't know. I guess 3 kids at 19 was a little bit much for my biological mother. And so my dad got custody of me. And my great aunt took one brother, and my mom's sister took the other brother. So I actually didn't meet my brothers till I was 14 years old.
Mm.
Well, except for, like under 1, and I don't remember that. So, but anyways, I was raised by my dad, and we moved to Bakersfield when I was 3 because of job. And I had, very stable. I mean, we were poor because he was just starting out his career, and his sister lived with us and helped raise me till I was in first grade. And then my dad got married to a lady named Rose, and she had a son that was 1, and my dad adopted him. His name is Dennis. And then a couple of years later, they had a little girl named Suzanne. And then they got divorced when I was in 6th grade. And my dad was single for a couple of years, and then he married another lady, and it was horrible. And she was just not the best match for him, and he started drinking. And by the time I was a junior in high school, he was a full-fledged alcoholic, and they would separate and get back together. And finally, they separated for good, got a divorce, and I moved back in with them because I had moved out when I was 16 because she told him it was me or her. So my dad told me I had to leave. So, but they got divorced. I moved back on with him, and he was just having a lot of trouble and still never quit drinking. And I moved on, that's one of the reasons I moved to New Jersey when I was 23, because my half brother that I'd met once when I was 14 was stationed here in the Navy. I needed to get away, and I needed a change. So I called him up after meeting him one time and said, "Hey, can I come out and stay with you?" And he said, "Sure." So I left it here, but then I met my ex-husband now, but he was stationed here, and he was from Texas, and then we moved to Texas for 22 years, or I did. So that's kind of background. A normal, like, my dad actually ended up being very successful and managed a chain of farm equipment stores, upper middle class, until it went south in high school. But all in all, he was a good dad.
Okay, so thank you for that background. All right, so I'm dying to know, how did you find out you were an NPE?
Well, 2018, and I hear a lot of stories from 2018 on your podcast, Lily.
I know.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Another one? So me and my son still lives in Texas. He's 24. He was here for Thanksgiving 2018. And that's a funny thing. I've always been the family genealogist. I hate to shift gears a tiny bit, but I remember, like, even back when we had to go to the library, and I found from my great grandmother a daughter that was listed when all our other kids were grown. And I asked my great uncle, and he goes, "Oh, that's just a lie. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who wrote that. That didn't happen." And it ended up, I found out later that it was her daughter's child.
Oh.
So they've been sneaking this stuff around forever.
Mm.
So anyways, it was Thanksgiving, and it was on sale, half price, Black Friday. Got it. I did my test. My son hadn't done his yet, and I went home for Christmas in California, and my results came in. So when I opened the results, I was looking at my ethnicity, and it wasn't really off. It was like 46% Irish and 51% English and a tiny, like 1% German. I did think I was more German, and one Norway. So it wasn't really off from what I thought I was. I mean, my maiden name was Laughlin. I'm Irish. And so I didn't look up my matches. I didn't even pay attention to them because I didn't know to look for them yet. And when I did, my cousin had said she tested, and she's from my dad's mom's side. And she says, "You're not showing up as a match." I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "I took the test." She goes, "Well, you're not showing up." And I said, "Well, let me look at it." So I looked at it, and sure enough, there was only one first cousin, and I never heard of this name before. And I know all my cousins from my dad's side and my mom's, because my mom only had one sister. And my dad had a brother and a sister. I knew all the kids. I was raised with them. We spent every holiday together. We're very close-knit. So it took me a couple days to comprehend all this. Like, what is this? However, growing up, I always had a tiny feeling, because let's just put it this way. My mom was a hoe. She was a flat out hoe. I mean, she was married 8 times by the time she was 40.
Your mother was married 8 times.
8 times before she was age 40.
Okay.
Right. She had my oldest brother when she was 15. I think she was 17, almost 18 when she had my middle brother, and then me at 19. And I always thought maybe because me and my middle brother look a lot alike, I always thought, well, I think he's my dad. It was just, I thought that. And even after my dad died, I almost asked my sister to do a sibling test, but I never had the nerve to do it. Anyway, so I'm talking to my boss at work, and I was like, "This is so weird. I don't know who this person is. They're showing up." And she's like, "Well, send him a message." And I did. And I'm like, "This is really weird. I don't know who you are, but you're showing up as my first cousin. Did you happen to have an uncle in Tulare, California in 1962? And he answered, and he goes, "Well, I had 2 of them." I said, "Okay." He goes, but I didn't know which one it is. So I'm like, "Okay." I message him back. I'm like, "Well, do you have names?" And he goes, "Well, it was Smith and Davis." He goes, "But they're both dead." I'm like, "Oh, wow, that sucks." And so I said, well, do they have kids?" And he goes, "Well, let me call them and see if I can give you the information." I said, "Okay." I didn't hear from him for 2 weeks. And so I sent him a message. He never answered. Same old story. Like, "You're an asshole." And so my boss is like, "Well, email the next people on your list." So I did. And it was actually Super Bowl Sunday. It would be his great niece, because she would be my second cousin, emailed or messaged me back on Answer Street. She goes, "Yeah, I have an uncle son. His name is Sonny, but his real name is Jeff. That was there, and he's still there." I'm like, "He's alive?" And she said, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh shit, that dude freaking lied to me." So I said, "Well, do you have his number?" And she goes, "My mom does." And I said, "Well, ask her if she'll give it to me." And she did. So I'll never forget that Super Bowl Sunday. So I get it. I take my phone. Of course, I'm at the bar celebrating Super Bowl. And called him. And he answered the phone. I said, "Is this Jeff Smith?" He goes, "Yes. Can I help you?" I said, "This is going to be a really strange call." He goes, "Okay." I said, "My name is DaRhonda, and I just recently took the ancestry DNA test, and I think you're my father." And he goes, "What the fuck?" He goes, "I only have one daughter, and she's sitting right here." And I said, "Well, just hear me out, okay?" I said, "Did you ever go out with a lady named Mary?" And I said her last name. And he goes, "Yeah, that's Alice's daughter. We worked at the seatbelt factory together. Alice is my grandmother."
Oh.
I said, "Yeah, that's her." And I said, "That's my granny." And he goes, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, how'd you get my number?" And I told him. And he goes, "And who are you? And why do you think this?" And I went over the story again, and I said, "I matched your nephew on Ancestry as a first cousin. And so I figured out my father wasn't my father, but you are." And he goes, "Oh, that's bullshit." I said, "Okay." So I said, "Well, you said you went out with her, right?" And I said, "Well, this is going to be awkward, but did you have sex?" And he goes, "That was almost 60 years ago. I don't remember." I said, "Okay, well, here's my number if you want to talk." And he said, "Bye." I said, "Bye." The next day he calls me and he goes, "Well, I couldn't talk because my wife was sitting there." I said, "Okay." He goes, "Yeah, I went out with her once. We went to the movies, and on the way home from the movie theater, she started rubbing my dick." This is for real. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I do not need to hear this." And he goes, "And then we got in the back seat. I gave her what she wanted." I'm like, "Oh God, this man is like 75 or 76 years old."
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, and it hit me right then. I have always been outspoken, tell it like it is. And my dad always hated that about me. And it just clicked. This man is just like me. I might not be that crude, but he's just like me. So, and we talked. Then he sent me a picture. I sent him a picture of me through his son's text message because his son lived with him at the time. And he seen my picture. Then they instantly sent me back a picture of his sister that had died in early 40s, I think, when she was like 14. Oh my God, we were like twins. I mean, everything. It was uncanny. And that's the first thing that when he seen my picture, he knew. However, he didn't believe in ancestry. So he literally paid $525 at LabCorp to get the test.
To get
and it was not
like a DNA test through.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because he paid $525 for a DNA test from LabCorp.
Oh wow.
I'm like, if you want to pay for it, I don't need it. I match your nephew, but he did, and it was 99.99 or whatever. So after that, I planned a trip to go out to California to meet him. And I met him I think the first weekend in March. I didn't wait that long. And it moved kind of fast. So I flew out there. My boyfriend still lives in California. So I had him pick me up. But Jeff's is my biological father's name. Sorry, stuttered there. And he met me at the airport too, but I wasn't going to ride with him. I didn't know who he was. Mm-hmm. So my boyfriend met me there. But Jeff met me at the airport. He had a dozen roses for me, and he cried and hugged me, and we went out to lunch with him and his wife. It was very awkward. very awkward. It's still awkward, but he's a super nice guy. But I learned I have two brothers and an adopted sister. So his daughter is not really even biologically his. But that doesn't matter. Adoption is just the same. I believe that. They're still family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met the sister and the one brother. And his other brother, their other brother, lives in Arizona. So I didn't meet him then. But he did fly out and meet me on Memorial Day weekend and spent the weekend with me. So that was nice. We have a lot in common. I don't really have anything in common with the other two. In fact, my new half brother, the one that lived with him, recently died of COVID.
Oh, DaRhonda, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, he had diabetes really, really bad. So
this was your newfound half brother just passed away? Oh my gosh.
His name was Timmy. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
It is. I really feel for my new bonus dad, I call him, and his wife. So anyways, after I visited him, I've been back a couple times, but interesting. My uncle, who was captain of Department of Forestry of California, back then the whole family could live at the firehouse. And the firehouse was right across the street from Jeff's sister's house where he lived. So he knew my aunt and uncle too. And he was at my uncle's funeral 8 years ago, and so was I. So that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
And then I found out one of my other cousins went out with him too. I'm like, he's been around my whole life, but I never knew him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So small town. So, I guess not a lot to go around. So
tell me what happened with your mom in all of this.
Well, when this happened, I hadn't talked to my mom in 10 years. I have my youngest son is gay. And when she found out, she said some really rude things. And I can't even repeat in case my son listens to this.
Yep.
So I told her to fuck off.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
I hadn't talked to her in 10 years. But I tried to contact her a couple times to talk to her. She hung up on me. Finally, I wrote a nice letter. Apparently my other half brother told her about this, and she's like, it's a lie, whatever. I don't even know that guy. Well, she finally talked to me, and I'm actually on speaking terms with her now. And I forgive her. She's not going to live forever. She's like 76 and weighs like 82 pounds now. She's very sick.
Yeah.
So I forgive her.
Yeah.
I was never mad at her. I just she's always been negative, and always very toxic. Like I said, I never lived with her except for maybe a couple months when I was born, but it's always toxic. Like at my wedding, she said I made a comment she didn't like because her dress was red, and she said I could see through it, and she was in the sunlight and looked like she didn't have a slip on. So I'm like, Mom, did you forget your slip? So she left 5 minutes before the wedding started.
At your wedding?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's always about her. If somebody gets sick or dies, she has to faint or something. I went with my aunt and uncle, who I lived with in high school, to visit her when I was 15. And she thought people were giving me too much attention, so she tried to kill herself.
Oh my gosh.
She multiple suicides. She shot herself before. She's just a train wreck.
Yeah.
But she's getting old. Now I'm legally her only child because the other ones were given away for adoption. So.
Wow. And she never raised any of you fully?
No.
Okay.
No. The longest, I think my oldest brother was 3 or 4. And we were at a family picnic, and I don't remember this. I only know because my family has told me this story my whole life. And her sister is like, well, Mary, those are some fine boys. And she's like, you want them? And literally they went home with them.
Really?
She gave them away at a family picnic.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And then my aunt couldn't take care of both of them, so she ended up giving the other one to a great aunt. Yeah.
Oh, my heart just breaks.
Yeah. So
I'm starting to understand people who have mothers like yours, especially in the NPE community. I'm learning a lot more.
The big trend, narcissist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but now I'm talking to her now. Oh, before I talked to her, Jeff, bonus dad, said, give me your number. And he's brazen, man. He got balls. And he called her a couple times.
Oh, wow.
And talked to her.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know everything that was said, but she apparently she goes like, I don't remember you, you know, but he's a man. So she's real nice to him.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah. So, it's the females that she really doesn't like. Yeah. So
you have your bonus dad. I love that you call him that in your life now. You have these some new family members, half siblings.
Yeah. And the only one I really communicate is the youngest, my new half brother, and his name is Jeff too. Oh. So I talk to him, but I don't really talk to the half sister or adopted sister. We have absolutely nothing in common. But I am honestly blessed that I was raised by my dad. Jeff's a hard worker, but he never made more than $14 an hour in his life. He's a good saver, so he's doing well off now. But all of his kids did drugs. They, at one time or another, all went to jail. Two of them went to prison, the girl and the boy, and the one that died of COVID. So I'm very blessed to have been raised by my dad. And my other family, you know, on that side, we had one cousin that did drugs and you know, besides pot, and I don't care about that, but like hard drugs. So I'm really glad. And, you know, I was able, my dad provided very well, whatever I needed, wanted, you know, so I was blessed to be raised by my dad.
Yeah. And if I may have missed this, but I'm going to ask again, how is, it does sound like you were blessed to be raised by your dad, your birth certificate father. And how is that connection now? How is that relationship?
He died in 1997 of cancer.
I'm sorry. Yes. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm glad he never had to know this. And also, his entire family is gone, and his brothers and sisters, they all died pretty young. My grandma, his mom, who I was so close to, died, let's see, in May or June of 1990, just a couple months after my oldest son was born. And I'm so thankful she never had to know this. That was your grandma. That was your Grammy, right?
Yeah, my grandma. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Now my granny on my mom's side, she's still alive. She'll be 97 in November.
Does she? Wow, 97. Does she know? Are you gonna bring her into this information?
She knows. She knows, but she's always been so protective of my mother. My mother's literally either lived with her or next door her whole life.
Oh, okay.
So she was mad at me for upsetting my mom.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah. And it's always been like that. So it's okay.
Yes. No, I understand that. I hate to use this word, but I will. A narcissist or a self-involved person always has a couple close enablers around them that take care of them and protect them no matter what. No matter what.
She's 100% enabler. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I get that.
Absolutely. But like I said, I'm talking to my mom now. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing that came out of it. Because I probably would have never talked to her again if it hadn't have been for this. And I still talk to my bonus dad once a week. Is it all roses? Do I feel like happy inside? It's strange. Even after a year and a half, it's strange. On some level, he's my biological father. So I have a little love like that, but there's no connection. None.
Really? Okay.
No, besides the fact that we're a lot alike in some ways. I tried, and went into it excited. I lost my dad at 33 years old. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I get a second chance. I get another dad. Like, who has that, right? Yeah. But I try. And like I said, we talk at least once a week. If I don't call him, he'll call me. But no warm fuzzies. But nothing bad either.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing bad either. So I spent Christmas with him last year. That was nice.
I appreciate your honesty with the relationship around your bonus dad and everyone in your family, really. I'm a truth teller, so I love hearing people tell it like it is.
Right.
And if people want to get in touch with you, how could they do that?
My email is DaRhonda@DaRhonda.com. You can get the spelling of it right up the podcast name, right?
Yep. Lily? And it will be the title of the podcast. I'll put it in the show notes as well, your email address. And also, if you're looking to get in touch with me, I can be reached at the Instagram handle Lily M. Wood. Lily is spelled Lily, M as in Marie.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Lily, for doing this for the NPE community. And if anybody wants to join our group I'm in, it's NPE Only After the Discovery. It's a great group. We're tight-knit. We do Zoom calls all the time. We have retreats. And I am also a member of the NPE Friends, and that's a great group too. I actually had the pleasure to meet Catherine. But that group is so big, and I felt lost in it. And there's a lot of negativity. And we don't do negativity in our group. So that's what I love about it. I mean, you can be sad and you can tell your side of the story, but don't be mean to others. We don't allow that at all. So I really love it. So
I love you guys. I love your group. I'm glad you did a shout out to your group, to both groups. You guys are hilarious. You had me dying when I joined.
I know. We told you, don't join us if you don't say the F word, because we don't give a fuck. Right?
I love this. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you, Lily, and thank you for doing this.
Thanks again to DaRhonda for sharing today. These stories are here for us to identify with. If you are an NPE that would like to share your story, email npestories@gmail.com. You do not have to give any identifying information. If you are an NPE and would like to share your story, I'd like to hear from you. Subscribe to this podcast to hear more. Come heal with us.